This week's question of the week: why is the NCAA a bunch of douchebags? If you can give me a clear answer, I would love to hear it, because I am sick and tired of this stupid crap. This Saturday night, the number 2 Michigan Wolverines will be traveling to East Lansing to face off against the Spartans at 7:30 p.m. and they are 24-point favorites with the over-under of 46.5. Dude, like, where do I even start with this one? Just Tuesday, I was commenting that it didn't really feel like state week. And then Wednesday, all hell breaks loose, and Thursday is just as much chaos. This is not what I was looking for, and this is not what we needed. So, of course, it breaks on MSU week that the NCAA is investigating Michigan for potentially stealing signals from other teams. Granted, there has been no information so far of any evidence whatsoever. People cannot deny that there is more focus with the NCAA against Harbaugh than probably any other coach in college football right now. I've already talked about way more than I want to because I normally don't get into stuff like this, but this is just so bizarre. It happened right before I'm recording, and so it's just fresh on my mind. This is ridiculous. So the question is, will there be any impact on the game from this? Frankly, I hope to see Michigan get pissed. I'm pissed. I want them to play pissed. I want them to go in there and just shut out MSU, shut this whole thing up, and just move on at this point because it's so ridiculous, so stupid, and annoying. Hopefully that's what happens from it. But it could cause issues and just make things weird. I don't think it's going to do anything about Michigan potentially not winning, nothing like that. But as we've seen, Michigan isn't the most consistent with their play sometimes. And so will they come out flat-footed? Will this have any other implications? Who knows? We'll have to wait until game night to see. The other thing that I haven't even mentioned yet is that the Michigan Wolverines are going back to East Lansing, which is the last place that they had a regular season loss. That close loss with some controversial calls against MSU back in 2021. And yes, there are still players on Michigan that were at that game on that team. So while it's few and far between compared to years prior, this is a revenge game for them. They want to go in there and not leave a doubt that they were the better team and to dominate yet again. But now all this going on this week, I don't even know what's going on through their minds right now. As I'll be talking about both teams, I'll be showing some graphics about their stats, where they rank in the conference for both offense and defense, and we'll also be talking about some key players for both teams. So you'll see some things here for offensive stats, but I think in total, when you look at the accumulation from both the rushing and the passing, looking at the total offense, Michigan comes ranked higher in the conference at number 4 with over 400 yards average per game, while MSU is 8th in the conference, not even reaching 350 yards on average per game. Now, defensively, Michigan is ranked number 2 in the conference, only allowing 233 yards per game, while MSU is ranked 7th, allowing 334 yards per game. If you compare those offensive and defensive numbers, the Michigan defense is almost holding their opponents to 200 yards less than their offense is putting up each week. While there's barely a difference for MSU, it's maybe 15 yards difference between what the offense is able to produce to what the defense is holding their opponents to. Now, the only thing in these lists that Michigan State actually outranks Michigan in is opponent third down conversions. Michigan is number 3 in the conference with 31.46%, while MSU is number 1 with 24.68%. Now, is that really fair considering that MSU has played Iowa, which is absolutely atrocious for third down conversions? I'm not going to say otherwise, but I do find it funny that probably helped pad that stat for the Spartans. So probably the trickiest thing to discuss is the quarterback situation for MSU. Noah Kim started the season, but got replaced for the Rutgers game by Hauser. He really only has one complete game to share stats, which is the Rutgers game. And so he threw for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns with a 62% completion percentage for that game. No interceptions. For the season, though, and all of his stats, he is averaging 60% completion with a total of 291 yards from all his playing time and has put up 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Honestly, I won't be surprised if we see both quarterbacks Saturday night. I won't be surprised if we see multiple trick plays Saturday night. Honestly, what does Michigan State have to lose? Absolutely nothing. No one outside of East Lansing is thinking that Michigan State is going to win this game. The question is, how much is Michigan going to win by? That's everybody's thought. So why not throw the book out and do as many trick plays as possible? Use as many different quarterbacks as possible. Do as many different things as possible. They have nothing. They're winless in conference. If they could somehow make this game competitive and have that hope of Michigan being their first conference win, that tiny little sliver, that would be astronomical for them. That would be unbelievable. I don't even know what that would do, but I don't even know what's going on in that locker room for them, considering what happened with Tucker getting fired, the dynamic going on there, players going into the transfer portal. Are they a unified locker room or not? It's hard to say. Some of the players still have that competitive spirit and are believing that the Spartans will win, which is what any team should do. I don't care how much of an underdog you are. That's what should be done. So kudos to them for that. But how will they respond to what is going on this week? What is happening with their head coach? What is happening with their players in their locker room? And going up against absolutely the best team that they have faced so far this season, this Saturday night. I, of course, have hopes that Michigan will just have a completely dominant night and that will be a high-scoring affair for the Wolverines and they can just shut out the Spartans. Is that likely to happen? Probably not. We saw what happened in the first quarter against Indiana last week. Bowling Green is still a distant memory, and Michigan isn't exactly the most consistent team that we've seen before. Overall, for the entire game of how they play and everything, yes, but shutting out and completely controlling every quarter of the game, not so much so far. So it's easy to say that Michigan will get the victory, not so easy to say that they'll get the shutout or how large that victory will be. Before this whole chaos happened this week, I easily had Michigan winning big. But with all this stupid crap going on, I have no idea what to make of anything. Who knows what Michigan's talking about with all these situations? Who knows what Michigan State is riling up? There were things that you saw where Michigan State was even saying that they were thinking about not playing the game at all. Nobody knows what's going on. So scoring prediction. The prediction is easy. Michigan winning. The score, not quite so easy. Michigan will dominate for a good duration of the game, I'm sure. And this MSU offense is only averaging 22 points a game. So with Michigan's great defense, I don't see very many points for them happening Saturday night. I love the comparison of Michigan and the boa constrictor because I absolutely do see that happening Saturday. I see them suffocating and taking control for the long, slow burn to just get a good dominant victory. Dominant doesn't always mean a lot of points though. But for my final score, I do have Michigan 41, MSU 10. Time will only tell how each team comes out of the locker room and what the dynamic is going to be like. I didn't even talk about what the weather potentially could be for Saturday night. But as we saw last week against Indiana, it didn't really slow things down for the Wolverines. It will be another long day as we wait for a 7:30 kickoff. So enjoy your day as much as possible. Catch some of those other matchups. We will be doing our review episode, of course, next week after the game. So we will catch you for that. But as always, until then, go blue.